tough loss for us. Definitely a game that we felt like we should have won, and definitely we're capable of winning. But I'm proud of the guys and how we fought till the end and gave ourselves a chance to take it to overtime. Obviously, I think we got to do a better job. If we get the ball first in overtime, it's our job as an offense to go down and score. We didn't do that, and we were really close. We thought Terry had that catch. I could have got out a little quicker and gave him some more room. But yeah, definitely a lot of things we can do better. But it was good to see. I mean, credit to Philly. They're one of the better teams in this league, and I think we showed a lot of people that we're right there.
That's a tough loss, man. That's tough, especially when you had your opportunities to win it, and we didn't necessarily execute. And that's a tough one, bro. I'm still trying to process that because you come in here and we got off to a really good start. But they're a good team too, so they got the stop when they needed to, and they scored at the end. But it's just tough when you feel like you had the opportunity to win and we didn't quite finish it. So we got to try to learn from this, but at the same time, we got a home game coming up on Thursday that we really got to get prepared for, and it's a quick turnaround. Those Thursday games get on you fast, so we got to get guys healed up and ready for that.
Hey, Terry, but even with this tough loss, could you talk about just how this team fought back to take it into overtime?
Yeah, honestly, it's a little bittersweet, to be honest, because I think we showed a lot of resiliency. I will give the credit to our team for that, because in this league you got to be able to fight back when your back's against the wall, and we showed that to put a drive together to even put ourselves in this situation to be successful and have a chance to win the game. We practiced that time and time again, but I'm about those W's, man. So it's good, but it's not good enough. So we got to figure out a way to finish the entire game, but I am really proud of the way that we fought to give ourselves a chance.
I feel like you got to shake it off and next man up. We had the Eagles this week. Like after this game, you can't just hold on to it. We got the Bears Thursday, so you got to shake it off and come back and perform.
Talk about that fight a little bit, of how you all got in position to take it into overtime.
We fought all the way down the field. We had certain situations come up to, kind of hold us back, but we fought through it. And, at the end of the day, we came down. We gave ourselves a chance to win.
Talk about this team overall, how the offensive line played well today. You all, as a team, came out strong to open up the game, and just how you all hung in there all the way into overtime.
It just shows what we have in us. That wasn't our full potential at the end of the day. We did have a good game, but we still got some more left in the tank.
I think you look around here and see some of the good that we did. We're a good football team, and we take care of the football. When we block them up and get the guys in the perimeter of the football, and then let the running backs make their plays, man, we got a good team. But we just got to go out there and prove it every day.
Hey, Logan, I know this is a tough loss, but just talk about how this team played and then how you all fought back to push it into overtime.
I mean, this is what this team is made of, man. We got a lot of grit. We got big hearts. Over the last couple of years, you've seen it. Like, we play hard till the whistle, till the final whistle blows. Even if we're up, down, in between, we'll play hard. And that's what I'm most proud about this group. The resolve, the resilience, to keep on pushing. That's what we do. I think we got a good team. We're strong in both facets, run and pass. We just got to keep putting it together. That's a good team over there. Obviously went to the Super Bowl last year. They're whatever it is, 4-0 now. But we went to overtime with them. Had our chances as well. So we just got to keep going back to the drawing board and doing what we got to do.
Back again, Tony. You know what? A disappointing loss up in Philadelphia to the Eagles, 34-31. But let's jump right into Tony, because it was a lot of great things that happened on the offensive side of the ball. We'll talk about your defense later on, but Tony, offense, Sam Howell and the offense bounced back from a game that was just the debacle of a game against the Buffalo Bills. And Sam, to me, played solid in this game against the Eagles. They had every opportunity. And this is the first time, Tony, that this team has drove down the field on the opening drive and scored. They had back-to-back touchdowns. But overall, I give this offense almost like an A+, but an A, because they didn't get it done in overtime. But what did you see in the offense from Sam and that group?
Well, I saw that the offensive line proved once again that they're better on the run than the pass. And they started with that enough play action passes with short passes that took over for the running game. That's what made them successful. Bieniemy, now, if you think about it, 2 out of the last 3 games, they scored 30-some points. So the offense did their job. And you said, let's talk about the defense later. We could talk about them now. Because had they done their job, they would have won that game. Now, we can't feel terrible about that game because Philadelphia is either one or two of the best teams in the league, probably. And they played well against them. Then you look at the other side of the ball, Donna. Their defense didn't do that much against Washington's offense, and they have a very good defense. So that was a matchup of 2 very good teams, 2 very good defenses, 2 very good offenses, but the team that was the best total team won. If you think about it, we got nothing out of special teams. We got a couple of punts and everything. And we have to get something out of everything to win. So when you take a look at this, it's not a win, but it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, Tony, after that game against Buffalo, when both sides of the ball did not play well, and for the offense to come out the way they did, I mean, they looked like that they were going to blow Philadelphia out of the waters because jump out to a 17-3 lead. And like you said, what I was impressed with most is the offensive line, because offensive line still gave up 5 sacks to the Eagles defense, but I think that they stood their grounds with one of the best defensive lines in football with the Eagles, a total of 24 sacks on the year, though, for this Commanders. But you're pleased overall. And I got to go back to Sam Howell, because for him to bounce back from the game that he had with those 4 turnovers in that Bills game, and then he had 0 in the Eagles game, hats off to him. But what was most impressive, Tony, is that final drive that they drove down when they had to score to tie it up with the Eagles. And it was a blitz that the Eagles brought on, and he jumped back up, shook it off, and he said that they had no timeouts, Tony. The clock was running, had to get the play in from Eric Bieniemy, and then he threw that strike to
Yeah, I mean, just trying to calm the storm. Obviously, the crowd's loud and the clock's running. We didn't have any timeouts, and so you got to get a play. And EB gave me the call, so just trying to get everybody lined up. And thankfully, we had a good play. The corner was playing so far off to Terry that we had a good completion over there to him. But yeah, just trying to calm the storm. Things we work on in practice, and just credit to EB for giving me a call fast enough to where I could go out there and make it right with those guys. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where we work on that all the time.
What were you impressed with when you really look at and break down his play of how he kind of like kept, getting back up and making big play after big play?
I think his coach, Eric Bieniemy, is a difference.
EB?
I think he's a difference
you
in
say
the whole.
EB?
That's right. That's right. You and him,
Oh, you can't call him EB.
You can't be EB and you cool. No, but I'm gonna.
Hey, you can't call him EB because you haven't been out in the trenches, Tony.
Okay, so I got to come out there to see him. But you know what? You see a definite, not just on the offensive side of the ball. You see more fire in the whole team. But let's digress and go back to that offensive line. You got a young line, and they've shown that they run the ball better than they pass. So what do? You start doing 5, 10-yard passes, which is equal to a run. That gets the ball out of the quarterback's hand quickly, make them not have to hold the block long, and let you advance the ball. You may not get the big cuts like you want to, but at the same time, you get the safe cuts. And that's always good. Even when you're cutting the cow with the beef, you get the best part that you can. And it ain't the short ribs either. But what
it's a good part of the beef. But Tony, let's talk about the running game, because we said going into this game against the Eagles that they've got to be able to run the ball, establish the running game. They had 107 yards rushing to the Eagles 104, so it was pretty even right there. Brian Robinson, 14 carries for 45 yards. He ran hard, and that touchdown that he got, but the ball came loose. Terry McLaurin fell on the ball, but it was 2 plays before that. Terry McLaurin on a pass where Sam got hit and the ball flew up in the air. He batted it down where it wasn't going to be an interception. And then the next play, Robinson running hard, got hit. And I'm talking, Tony, it was some hitting going on out there, but, he was trying to get that touchdown. So you saw him progressing, but Terry McLaurin ends up falling on the ball. The running game, even though they just got 107 yards, it was more of a balanced offense for this team against the Eagles. Sam had 6 carries for 40 yards in his running, which I thought that was key. And then Gibson 6 for 19. But what are you seeing out of the running game? Are you still a little disappointed that they're not running the ball more? Listen to me. I'm still mad about them losing that game that they should have won.
You can't be mad about that, Donna. That was a step
Tony,
in the
but
right
they should have
direction.
won. They got
And
the ball first in
won.
OT.
But they need this right now. Had they looked up and maybe not did what they were supposed to do and win, that would have been in the back of their mind. Right now, they know what they need to do if they go against maybe the best team in the NFC and what they need to do to win. As far as running the ball, I think that they only got I think that you should run Brian a little bit more. I know that they like the diversity of having different Gibson and other people in there. And I don't like the quarterback running all the time because he has the propensity to lose the ball when he get hit sometime. And I don't want him hurt either. He's just getting into a rhythm. We want to keep him from running much. But I like what they did. Take the short passes. Now, I would like to see more runs, but I think as we progress, you'll see more runs for the simple aspect. These guys are going to have to lock in to stop the run. And when they stop those feet from moving, you got that short pass across the middle. The tight ends are very important, and we saw that on Sunday. So what I'm looking at as a team, I give the offense, as you said, an A-. Same time, because they got some things they need to pick up. They will have to run the ball better. But at the same time, overall, the one name that was called more, and I think it was the difference in the game, was Terry McLaurin. I think when they got him in early, they made him start watching him, and then he even made plays when other people made mistakes. He is the leader of the offense, whether they want him to be or not. He is the man. Got to get him involved. Those other receivers will follow. Then you get Big Brian running that ball Robinson the way he can, throwing Gibson a little bit for a little switch. How you man start doing it. See what we did with Joe Theismann in our day. We had a play called the dash, where you go out to the side. His offensive linemen go with him. They set up on the side. They give him a perimeter look at the whole field. They need to put a couple of those in. But what I like right now, they are progressing. As a defensive player, anytime my offense scores 30 points, I should win that game. And that hasn't happened 2 out of the last 3. Calling it like I see it. And the thing about it, I am going to give Philadelphia a little play because they have a very good offense and defensive line. That's why they were in the Super Bowl. But at the same time, when you match up, you got to match up. They ended up with 5 sacks. I think Washington may have had 1 or 2. And that's what was disappointing. They had 3, but they weren't just whooping people's sacks either.
Happy how the offense came out and played. Put us back in the game. Crucial time. Great play by Sam and John and all those guys, to march down the field and go out there and score. You got to go out there and strain a little bit more to really, give ourselves a chance to close the game on the defensive side. Coach
Rivera said that it's the little things, the little details. Do you see that out there also for this team?
Certain plays, certain call, if you take away some crucial penalties or like a rush or like a coverage, we could have played a little bit tighter because it wasn't like we was blowing calls or making any huge mistake. It was like Coach Rivera said, those small details, could have been a little bit tighter on that coverage, could have, jumped the ball a little quicker, turned that pass deflection into an interception, those are crucial. I think this is where we're going to win the turnover battles, working on those details and changes those small plays into bigger plays.
I know this is disappointing, but could you just talk about a little bit about how this team fought throughout this whole game, and what can you take away from this game like this?
I take away a lot. Those are the type of games that you're going to see, once you make it to the playoff, because, everybody's going to be scratching and clawing, trying to win the game. So you got to build that, that resilience, trying to strain for 60 minutes and overtime right now. So that way when we down the line, down the season, trying to not win those games or we in the playoff, that's how it's going to be. There ain't going to be no easy game in this league, especially in the playoffs. So we got to build that strain right now. And then we came up short today, but next time we won't.
Offense played phenomenally. They did everything in their power to help us win this game, and the defense let us down this game. So we'll be better Thursday.
No, Tony, they weren't whooping anybody. We're going to go transition to that defense because I was waiting to get you because I've been disappointed. But when you, like you said, with Terry McLaurin, even that Dotson touchdown that tied up the game, Terry was wide open too, so he had two options and so forth. But Terry is playing ball. He is their playmaker, Tony, and they know that. But I like what Sam did. And I like what Eric Bieniemy did with the offensive play calling, because he used short passes with his backs, and it was good to have Logan Thomas back in there. And also Sam got rid of the ball faster. You saw him kind of like, it wasn't like him holding on to the ball. This was the first time that I really saw him progress in getting rid of the ball. But let's transition over to the defensive side of the ball. Who's not getting it done, Tony? Because the week against Buffalo, 0 sacks, and then this week, 3 sacks against the Eagles. But the defensive front, I'm not seeing the pressure up there, Tony. What's your take?
And you said it correctly. I'm seeing the pressure from the outside consistently. I'm seeing the pressure from one of the inside players consistently. The other inside player must pick it up.
Well, who are those players you talked about, Tony?
We're not throwing no names out here. Don't worry about it. One thing about it.
They know who they are, right, Tony?
They know.
You little chicken.
And I tell you what, but if you take a look at that, I like that, but at the same time, I don't like my linebackers. And see, what I'm going to do down is, I'm not here to pull people's names out and put them on Front Street, but I am going to mention what individuals did. Those individuals themselves know what they did and what they did not do. When you're in an overtime game and you got a 3rd and long and you got a player pinned to the sideline, you always know as a player, you never let them get to your closest shoulder to the sideline. You always keep that inside shoulder where they have to either go out of bounds or you tackle them. You let this guy get away and get the first down, and that ended the game. Those are the kind of plays this team, if they have any kind of hope of being a top-tier team, you have to make those plays. You look around the league, and I know we're going to do that, but at the same time, you look at the teams that's making the plays. A lot of people, they looking at San Francisco. Okay, we were all raving about Miami. You see what happened when a good team come and take them apart. So right now it's wide open. So you do have to go back and digress and look at Philadelphia. Is a very, very good team. Automatic first downs on those 1-yard runs. Got a quarterback to make great decisions, and they're tough. So you know what? On Sunday, the defensive line not playing as well as I thought. I give it to them because they played against an all-pro offensive line. Offensive line played better against an all-pro defensive line, and they played pretty well. The short passes, and that's why I say the offensive coordinator, EB as you call him, he's brought a whole new perspective to this team. But I'm going to tell you what, the defensive coordinator need to get his guys to pick it up.
Well, no, Tony, not only does he need the guys to pick it up, he needs to pick it up because Jack Del Rio needs to be more aggressive in his play calling for the defense, because the defense had them in that first half 17-3. So they did their job in the first half, but we know that it's the second half that they also played. But Tony, the defense, I'm not going to let you off the hook that easy. One player that's particularly playing well since he's been back is Chase Young. You talk about the end play, Chase Young and Montez Sweat. Those guys are playmakers. They're playing some ball. Chase to me is really aggressive. Like you said, the linebacker play has to pick up. But it was a drop-off in the second half as far as Ron Rivera said, it's the little things, the little details that they've got to get better on. They've got a game coming up this Thursday, a short week, Tony. You know about short weeks, that you've got to turn it around quick. But this was a stinger in Philadelphia because this was a game that they should have won. They came, the game plan was great, but just couldn't get it done in overtime. And again, if you get the ball first in overtime, you've got to score. You can't give it back to Philadelphia. But Tony, a short week to turn things around. What's your take? The Chicago Bears, who I think are one game, they won one game, but you know, this is just like last year. They beat Philadelphia on Monday night. Then they had to turn around and play Chicago. Almost the same setup. Short week, your thoughts?
Can't think about it. Can't think about last week. Got to think about healing. Getting 2 days so you at least feel like getting in your stand. You got a game Thursday regardless. This is a team that is not playing well, but it's also creating problems for other teams. Therefore, you got a lot of fast guys on this team. Defense a little suspect. And I'm speaking of Chicago Bears, which was the team I started with, and I've always watched them. They're a team that can be beatable, but they're also a team that can beat you if you allow them to. So now you have to put this game away. You put it in your back pocket and walk away because you almost beat an NFC championship team. But at the same time, now you get into play a bottom run, and if you let them beat you, then you back at square one. This game is so important right now for the direction they want their season to go. They're 2-2. They need to be 3-2 after this. Don't worry about what you did not do with Philly. Worry about what you need to do with Chicago. You got 3 days to get it on. But first and foremost, Donna, on the older player side of it, which they don't have that many, you need at least 2 days to get yourself together because you got to get out there in 2 more days and do it again. And I tell you what, this is not
to
a
get
movie.
over the soreness, to get over the soreness. But Tony, I'm keeping this in my front pocket right now for a couple of days because I'm brewing on it still. Mad, had to drive back from Philadelphia, knowing with that bad taste in my mouth. But you know what? I want everybody to get off Emmanuel Forbes, the rookie cornerback. Had a tough game against Philadelphia, but this is a guy that is going to be really good. I mean, look, last week they had a bad game against Buffalo, the whole team, and he had a tough time going up against the top receiver, A.J. Brown. So, I mean, I want everybody, you're on social media, everybody is on him, but they've got to remember that's one game that he had a tough game against an all-pro wide receiver. This guy is a playmaker. He can play, Emmanuel Forbes. But, Tony, this defense, second week in a row, has allowed all these points to be scored. They need to pick it up. And I'm going to let you have the last word.
But I'm not going to make
it better be a good word.
I'm not going to make excuse. The last 2 teams they played have 2 of the top offenses in the game, 2 of the top offensive lines in the game, 2 of the top quarterbacks in the game. So I give them a little play right now. Now, the earlier games, they could have played better, but I see them improving each and every week. I was disappointed in the pass rush this week because I know they're better than that. And as you said, Chase Young has come in, looked like he's centering himself. When I say center, he's squaring up on that guy, taking him back, and then making a decision. That's what I like to see with him. And Sweat, he's been putting the sweat on the guys the whole year. He got them soaking wet. And is that Philadelphia Sweat any kin to him? That guy that played defensive line up there? Are they any kin?
I don't think so.
Well, they play alike. They both of them pretty doggone good. I'm going to tell you what, if you go with the overall, maybe not the stats and everything, but Sweat is right up there as one of their top offensive defensive linemen this year. So
hey, Tony, they're both in their contract years, Sweat and Young, and they're playing just like Payne did last year in his contract year. Hey, they're showing this Commanders team that they want them to sign them next year because they're playing ball.
And you know that's what they have to do, and they have to look around the league and see. You already see the teams that you have to get ready for, and none of them are a joke. So when I look at this team, as I said, you got to put away Philadelphia. You did get them this time, get them the next time. But right now, Chicago is your Philadelphia for this week.
And Tony, make sure that people can catch us. They can subscribe to our podcast In the Minute, and wherever you listen to your podcast. And Tony, what you say, we don't say?
We never say goodbye. We say in the minute.
In the minute.